Jane, how do you go from a 5-year-old bunkering down in World War II to someone that is studying chimpanzees in the Gombe forest? Help us understand how you go on that journey.
Well, when I was a tiny little girl, I was born loving animals. I just, it just was in me from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something happened when I was in my mother's womb. I don't know, but she doesn't know either. So, and I had this incredibly supportive mother. So she didn't get angry when she found age 1.5, I'd taken a whole lot of earthworms to bed with me, earth and all. She said, Jane, you were watching them so intently as though you were wondering, how do they walk without legs? And so, instead of getting angry with me, she said, I think we better take them back in the garden because they might die here. They need the earth.
Mm.
And she found books for me about animals. Of course, in the war, they weren't even making children's books. We had very little money. My father had gone off to fight. Books came from the library and books about animals. And Dr. Dolittle, I read Dr. Dolittle when I was 10.
Mm.
And then Tarzan of the Apes, I found a little tiny second-hand book in a second-hand bookshop, which I loved that bookshop. I used to save up my few pennies of pocket money. And I could just afford this little book, and it was Tarzan of the Apes. Took it up my favorite tree in the garden that is still there. And I read it from cover to cover. And that was when my dream began. I will grow up, go to Africa, live with wild animals, and write books about them. There was no thought of being a scientist. Girls weren't in those days. And everybody laughed at me. How will you do that? Africa's far away. We don't know much about it. It's dangerous. There's a war. And anyway, you're just a girl. But not Mum. She said, if you really want to do something like this, you'll have to work awfully hard, take advantage of every opportunity. And if you don't give up, maybe you find a way. So, as everybody knows, I did get to Africa. And I was fortunate in hearing about and going to meet the late Louis Leakey, the famous paleoanthropologist.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me this amazing opportunity to study not any animal, but the one most like us. I hadn't even been to college, but he managed to get money for 6 months. That's where it all began.